Hello everyone, we have a new segment in the channel called Empowerment. It is the time to learn, unlearn, and relearn topics in public administration and organizational development. And for our first episode, we will be discussing about administrative accountability. We will start by telling you a short story. This is a story about people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. The story goes this way. There was an important job that needed to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody would not do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. Get confused? When you don't have a well-defined and understood responsibilities or accountabilities, the performance really suffers. We need to define what employees do and then measure and reward their actions. Let's go now define accountability. It is a relationship between two people. Who is accountable to whom and what are they are accountable for. It can also mean government organizations, administrators are accountable to the citizens, the users of public service, and the law. Accountability has been introduced since the immemorial, when famous Greek philosophers such as Aristotle, Plato, and Zeno had first discussed accountability in the context of judgment, punishment, and social control. Accountability is the very foundation of bureaucracy in a democracy, because accountability depends on the ability of policymakers to control administrators' action. Control can either be a positive or a negative thing. It can be a positive thing because it requires an agency or an organization to do something what is ought them to do or what is right for them to do. It can be a negative thing when it seeks to prevent an agency or organization to do something it should not do. Accountability can be interpreted as an inherent relationship between the parties who give and receive an operation. That's why I defined it a relationship between people. From an organizational perspective, the accountability of an organization is not simply the responsibility of using organizational resources effective, efficient, and economical, but covers the responsibility to stay away from any misuse of such resources. On the other hand, in the context of the civil service, accountability is the responsibility of the officer to provide an explanation of the actions and the decisions they take to those who are entitled to answers and explanations, in this case, the general public. The concept of accountability can be defined as a vertical accountability wherein the civil servants must be accountable to their actions as well as the government. In the Philippines, our legal basis for accountability is based on Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines 1973, Article 13, Section 1. An office is a public trust. Public officers and employees shall serve with the highest degree of responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency, and shall remain accountable to the people. We will now discuss the elements of accountability. We have 4 elements. On the grounds here on the left portion, if you can see, we have there a column. Who is accountable? To whom is he accountable? To what standards of values is he accountable, and by what means is he made accountable? In the traditional accountability, or simply means the fiscal accountability, employees and officials are accountable to the users of the public services. To whom is he accountable? He is accountable to the people through legislature, president, the constitutional bodies, and the hierarchy. To what standards of values is he accountable? Regularity, legality, and compliance. In the traditional accountability, by what means is he made accountable? Line item budgeting, traditional accounting, the standard operating procedures. That's in the element of the traditional accountability. On the managerial accountability, the administrator is accountable to the people through legislature, president, constitutional bodies, and hierarchy, to the standards of economy and efficiency, and he is audited for the system's improvement. Program accountability, on the other hand, the administrator is accountable to the people through legislature, president, constitutional bodies, hierarchy, professional standards in individual conscience. To what standards of values is he accountable? The 3 E's: economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. And by what means is he accountable for? Comprehensive audit program, evaluation, and productivity measurement. These are the standards of his accountability. While in the process accountability, the administrator is accountable to the people through legislature, president, constitutional bodies, hierarchy, direct accountability to the people through their participation in negotiation. And to what standards of values is he accountable? The 3 E's: economy, efficiency, effectiveness, plus decentralization and participation. And by what means is he made accountable? Negotiations. We will now move to the pillars of accountability. Number 1 is the responsibility. It is a duty that binds the course of action. Answerability. It is being called to account. Trustworthiness. A trait of being worthy of trust and confidence. And number 4 is the liability. Being legally bound to a debt or obligation. So why accountability is important? It is for better governance, effective and efficient public service delivery, the engaging of citizens, ensuring the citizens' rights, and of course, empowerment. Government officials, or the principal agents, are responsible for their conduct. They must obey the law and not abuse their powers. As well as they are also responsible of their performance. They must serve the public interest in an efficient, effective, and fair manner. All states have some form of mechanisms to promote or ensure accountability of public actors for effective public service delivery. So how can we approach public accountability? It can be an individual thing. It's an ethical, personal obligation. We can approach it collectively through civil society, informal group, and community. Or we can approach it institutionally or institutional. We have the political, administrative, and the legal. You don't choose the day you enter the world, and you don't choose the day you leave. It's what you do in between that makes all the difference. The role of media in accountability. We all know that media plays a big role in promoting accountability. It promotes citizen engagement. It builds the trust towards public service providers, the trust between the public service users, and their trust to the government or the providers of these public services. It increases transparency and access to information, and it enhances accountability and citizen oversight. So the responsibility of an accountable ethical officer should be remembered in these three ordeal. You are responsible for your own actions. You are not just following orders. And most of all, you cannot blame others, your coworkers, your clients, for unethical behavior. This is your responsibility as an accountable ethical officer. We now discuss the elements of good governance, where accountability is one of the factors or one of the elements. Accountability, it is the key requirement of good governance. It is applicable to government, civil society, and private sector. Its type is political, legal, social, and administrative, which our discussion focuses today. And the components are the answerability, sanction, readiness, and system improvement. Transparency, accessibility of information to those affected by decisions taken in governance process. Responsiveness, it is the timely delivery of services and the citizen friendliness. Effectiveness and efficiency, it is the optimum use of resources. Competency and performance of civil servants, and result orientation. The rule of law, following the fair legal framework and independent judiciary. Participatory, it is the cornerstone of governance. Citizens participate in decision-making, implementation, and monitoring of government activities. It is a freedom of expression and association, an organized civil society. Equity and inclusiveness. It is equal opportunities in the decision-making process and participation. All groups have opportunities to improve or maintain their well-being. And consensus, concerned with the best interest of the whole community. So my best takeaway for this discussion is being accountable implies action and commitment. Until the next.